1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 12 to 13. The human body has many parts, but the many parts make up one whole body. So it is the same with the body of Christ. Some of us are Jews, some of us are Gentiles. Some of us are slaves and some of us are free. But we have all been baptized into one body and by one Spirit, and we all share the same one Spirit. But sometimes it feels like I know the church body and I don't know God. It just seems like there's something about the church body that can throw my image of God off. Because see, if the church is the way that God stretches his hands to reach different denominations, then why do I feel dominated if the same church that came to me is not the one that I choose to put my faith in? Why do those once loving hands turn quick into fists that can criticize the way that I choose to live? Just a moment ago, you were saying that I was his kid, and now you say that I don't fit the description of what you envision to be the proper image of a good church-going Christian. What point am I missing? Because sometimes I find it hard to listen in the midst of all this debating. Different people are talking about the different doctrines of their nations. Am I in a doctrined nation? Is this the same church I'm supposed to be saved in or enslaved in? Because sometimes I find it hard to find rest in this place of restoration when all I see when I walk into some churches is self-hate and segregation. It can be degrading to see that I can be judged simply for being me. Because a self-abusive church can cause some of its members to leave. How long will it be before the rest of us in this body of the church find it hard to breathe? Because we can't continue to embody the message that the world's healing is coming soon if we can't first take a step back and acknowledge our own open wounds. Because how can a body survive if it refuses to acknowledge the cries of its vessels inside? How can a church without its members stay alive? I fear that if we can't come together as one church body, then one day that church body may die. And I cry because I don't know if it's pride, but if we can't put something aside, these church aisles we grew up playing in may one day run dry. Because if you can't acknowledge people for who they are, then once those people leave, it's at that point that the church body will starve. Because everybody plays a special part in the body of the church, but without love, we have forgotten our heart. And if we don't allow love to come back and bring a change, then we lose the one thing that brought us all together in the first place, being saved by the blood of his name. If that love doesn't run through our veins, then maybe we as church members have taken the Lord's name in vain. Because without love, we won't be able to treat people with different backgrounds the same. And over time, the body's resources will slowly become drained. And our church members will start to feel that pain. And now it seems like we don't support them. And now it seems like to the world that we have become the advocates for our own abortion. Because if we don't use love to give birth to a new generation of believers, then even within the body of the church, our children can be raised by a world of deceivers where it's easy for their lives to be lost if they were not taught the same love of God that it seems this church body has forgot. Because without love, ultimately this church body will go into a state of shock. And as its heart stops, it'll drop down to the floor. And it'll be at that point that the body of the church will be no more.